So welcome guys, this is going to be my top 12 MLG Columbus predictions, as well as some player analysis and some team analysis, of course. Just giving a little bit of insight of where I think teams are going to place, why they're going to place where they place, and maybe talking about the players and maybe some other factors, some other stuff. Some stuff I know. Just so you guys know, this is completely my opinion. It doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. I'm going to be very considerate of other teams. Every person I'm going to talk about today, every team I'm going to talk about today, remember that, they care about this game deeply, they care about their teams deeply, and everybody is going to war in about 10 days. So I'm going to be very respectful of that. My opinions are going to be, again, they're going to be very honest. Don't take them to heart. I'm not going to say anything out of line. I'm just going to give my honest opinion. So that being said, we're going to go a little bit backwards here. I think, let's see. Actually, I wanted to change one team. Starbright's is going to hate me. Okay, well, that's just how I feel. Okay, right. So we're going to go a little bit backwards here, okay? So I'm going to start off at number 12, and we're going to work way up to number 1. So starting at 12, I'm going to go with No Name Noobs. This is a 32-team tournament going into Columbus. So 12th, in my opinion, is pretty darn good. Back in the day, that would be considered semi-pro. I feel like these guys have what it takes to be a top 12 team and beyond. I think it wouldn't be unreasonable to put them in between the 12th and the 8th spot. The roster of N3 is going to be Bobby, Finagler, Chubbs, and Baird. Chubbs has been to so many lands. Everybody knows he's heavily slept on. Very good. He has a very good head on his shoulders. Very, very good with power weapons and a shotgun. Just a good leader in general. Baird is super good at the game. Finagler is very good with power weapons and sniper as well. And then, of course, Bobby has just an absolute... he's just been to so many lands as well. I just feel like their land experience is what's going to get them top 12. And then maybe even as high as top 8. I'm putting them at 12 just because I feel like there's a lot of talent at this event going in. And I think it would be foolish not to put them in top 12. But at the same time, we're going to have to see they're a little bit newer of a team compared to a lot of the other teams going. They did have a little bit of roster complications as well, Wingo's going to SB and stuff like that. But I really do feel like there's a lot of potential there, and I feel like they'll get at least 12. Again, Bobby, Chubbs, they've been to so many events. Finagler's very good with snipe, which you need a good sniper in this game. It makes your team infinitely better if you have a good sniper on your team just for Ultimate Edition. And then Baird as well, I think he's a versatile player as well. He's just going to be very good with the weapons on his back, and you just kind of need someone like that in general. I think it's just a well-balanced team and just has a lot of land experience, so I put them at top 12. The 11th team is going to be True Ambition. So you guys might be watching them, might be watching Nunez's stream. He's been doing a great job on there. He's playing with Genesis, Raindrops. Who's the 4th? And Alexander. I think it's IX or XI. Again, another very well-balanced team. Okay, so you have Genesis, considered one of the best snipers in the game. And you, like I said, you really do need a top sniper in this game to balance your team out. Otherwise, it can put you pretty darn far behind. Raindrops is a very good slayer, as well as Alexander. I'm not sure how many lands those two have been to. Maybe some locals. I don't think they've been to a major before. I could be wrong. Nunez has been to tons of lands, so on land he'll be just fine. I think, again, it would be foolish not to put them in top 12. I think the team is very well-rounded. They're scrimming every night. Again, Genesis is a very good player, pro player and pro sniper. I just think the team's very well-rounded. They seem a little emotional at times, but, I mean, what team isn't? I don't know a team out there that really doesn't get emotional. That just comes from a deep-seated passion, so I don't think that's much to read into. I don't see them showing any type of emotion that would be negative on LAN, unless they were truly far behind. But I don't think that they would get far behind until maybe they have to play a team seeded in the top 6. I think they'll be able to handle their own. I think they'll have a lot of hype behind them. Moving on to the 10th place team, in my opinion, I would go to VexX. Now, this is a roster, a lot of people talk about. They're not really sure where to put them. Most people will put them anywhere from 8th to 16th. Maybe a couple people that know them a little bit better will put them anywhere in the top 8 sometimes, like between 5 and 6. I think 10th might be undervaluing them a little bit, but just keep in mind what I'm going off of, right? I feel like the team doesn't have a lot of LAN experience. Like, I don't think anybody on their team has really, like, truly performed very well at LAN or even been to an event yet. They have a lot of talent. You have Hooligan, who's just like a raw slayer, has like a good pistol. And then, of course, Dome's he's going to be very intelligent. He's going to try to milk absolutely everything he can out of every round. Now, the question is, can he take that and can he bring it to LAN and really slow it down? Because rounds do get a lot slower, and being able to switch gears like that. I'm not 100% sure how much Vex has been scrimming and how much they've been playing, so I might be undervaluing them a little bit. But I just feel like they would be almost close to kind of bubbling the top 8. So I put them at 10th. That could be they could go down 2, they could go up 2. It really depends. I don't know like anything about how these guys will do on LAN just because it's their first time. So that's probably why I'm putting them only at 10th. A lot of people would say they're top 8. But this is going to be the most competitive Gears of War tournament in an extremely long time. So you have a team like Vex who probably just runs through so many teams and so many players, and they're being put at 10th. You guys might say that's a bit crazy, but again, it's hard to evaluate them when they haven't really been to a LAN before, right? It'd be similar to my team, but I'm not going to be doing my team in this predictions and analysis. So that's Vex. I put them at 10th. 9th. This one is going to be, I think some people might disagree with me quite heavily on this one. Again, bubbling just out of the top 8. I'm going to go with A1. So this is Get Bronco, okay? So this would be Legend 40, damage points, Kraz. Oh my god, kill me. What's the 4th? I forget the 4th player, I'm so sorry. Oh my god, it'll come to me in a bit. But we've been playing against these guys a lot. I wouldn't call us scrim partners with them, but I like the way they play. Again, they have a lot of roles. Everything fits in pretty well. Kraz, since they picked up Kraz, they actually started playing like really well, and I feel like they're going to be able to copy paste. I've played with damage points before on LAN. I know what he can bring to a team from the mental side of it and playing the way you're supposed to play. So the question is, will they be able to keep up with a little bit of the skill? This is one of the, like I said, is the most competitive event in a long time. The skill is the only thing I'm not sure of, because they're coming in late. Damage hasn't really played this game that seriously until the last month or two. Same with Legend. Kraz kind of came out of nowhere as well, so it's more of a skill thing, because I really feel like they have the Gears of War mindset, but can they keep up skill-wise? Can the tempo be there? I think we'll just see that. I think the head will be there, but will the thumbs be there? We'll see. But I honestly put them higher than Vex, True Ambition, and N3, just because of a little bit of the LAN experience there, and I just from scrimming them, I can just tell that they've really thought out how the game's going to play, no slides, stuff like that. I see them on a lot too. Again, just playing. So I'm going to put them at 9th. I don't think they're going to place anything worse than 12th. So for these 4 teams I just talked about, N3, True Ambition, Vex, and A1, 9th through 12th is very similar. Like, it's pretty much the same placing. I just kind of I stacked them one on top of each other just for some of the reasons that I stated, right? I feel like A1 just has a little bit of an edge over Vex, True Ambition, and N3. I feel like True Ambition could take 9th, just as A1 could take 11th, but I'm going to put A1 at 9th. I honestly see them doing well. It just, to break top 8, I think it's going to be extremely hard, because the top 8 is unbelievably competitive. And again, this is not, like, I hold my team in a pretty high regard, and this is not including my team either. So if my team did place well, it would be bumping everybody down 1 as well. So it's just crazy event. Anyway, so that's 12th through 9th. So that's going to bring us into our top 8 here. And my 8th place team, I don't think many people will disagree with this. I'm going to go with Strictly Business. So again, same with how 9th through 12th kind of worked. 7th and 8th are kind of similar. It's very close. It's pretty much a tie just because of the way the brackets work. But I put SB at 8th just because I feel like okay, so Yogurt and Nasty, 2 of my longtime teammates, extremely talented and good players on LAN, most people don't even put them in the top 8, but I feel like there's just no way they wouldn't get at least 7th or 8th in the money, just for how much experience that whole team has. You can talk about the LAN experience of Wingos, Excels, Nasty, and Yogurt for a very, very long time. I think out of all the teams here, they have almost more LAN experience than half the teams in the top 12. The only question is just to see exactly what will happen on LAN. Jake is super good at this game. I feel like he's not as good at UE as he is at GAU 3 and like a little bit faster paced games, like objective based games. But it could swing. Like they could place, I feel like they could go as high as 4th if they're all really on, and they could go as probably as low as 9 or 10. But I think they're gonna minimum place 8th. I'm hoping this prediction makes them hungry because I'm good friends with a lot of people on that team. It's a very well balanced team, to be honest. Like I said, you need a good sniper. Excels is one of the best snipers in the game, if not the best sniper in the game. And we're gonna see how that works out. Wingos is a heavily slept on player on that team. He has been grinding, and I think you'll really see a really good Wingos going into MLG. I've seen him play at MLGs before. Granted, this was back in 2009, 2010, but he was a different player at those events, and he's taken the game a lot more seriously. And I think you're going to see him play well, and I think you're going to see him take the team up a couple spots, whereas some of you guys might put SB, probably from 9 to 12. He's going to take him up higher. I put him at 8th just to hopefully make them a little bit hungry and just to give my honest opinion of them being a pro league team if the ESO is still around, just because of the sheer experience and talent on the team. But I'm not exactly sure. Scrimming them and stuff, they don't seem very cohesive. I feel like they're not very organized. Not as organized as they could be. So the question is, on LAN, does that cohesion increase? And do they really work as a well-oiled machine? Because that's the only thing that I see about SB. All the talent is there and all the pieces there are there, but I feel like it's really easy to kind of pick one off and kind of like read the playing field and divvy them up, and that's what all the top teams do, right? Like that's what like Denial, Envy, and like TK, like they'll see the board and they'll just make plays based on your position. I feel like sometimes they're just a little bit out of position with the wrong weapon, etc. So we'll see how they do. But anyway, that's SB. I put him at 8th, kind of like it's a tied with the 7th place team, which I'll go into right now. So my 7th place team, otherwise known as Mutiny, now Lethul. I think it's Lethul Gaming. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure what their kind of the second part of that is, but I know they're lethal. It's Strafey, Rushies, Ments, and Decline. I think that's their 4. These guys a little bit off the radar. They don't have any major streamers on their team. Not a lot of people really get to see like how good they are, etc., etc. But they're grinding hard. Ments was a really good pickup for their team. Their team is very well balanced. Decline, I mean, I don't get along with this team, but I'm going to try to keep that out of it. I'm giving them a respectful 7th, like a top 8, like a strong top 8. Like, I'd be very surprised if they didn't make top 8. Decline is a great sniper and a great player in transition. Strafey, as I know, is kind of the guy that kind of instructs everybody, kind of like a leader role, but I think Ments is kind of taking a little bit more of the captain role, but Strafey makes sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. Rushies is a reason that I wouldn't put him any higher than 7th. I think Rushies is an extremely talented player, but I think he makes some very, very questionable plays. I don't know how many LANs he's been to, and so, again, it's hard to evaluate, and it's hard to analyze a player that's never been to LAN. All you can do is kind of question it a little bit. It would be different if I saw Rushies online playing a little bit smarter and a little bit slower, but he just doesn't do that. So the question is, will he figure it out come LAN time? Because when people are playing for money, they will do anything to win a round, and I feel like that he could cost his team some rounds if he's not playing as a little bit safer. But we'll see how that goes. I don't think anyone would disagree that like Lethul is a top 8 team. I think they fly under the radar a little bit, but I think the team is very well balanced. So my 6th place team. You guys might laugh at this, but yeah, it's E6. I'm gonna give them 6th. For a few reasons. A lot of people are saying they're going to place like top 4. Now, I do think E6 is a great team. They were together and they've been in the Pro League both Season 1, Season 2. Again, I told you how important it is just to have a good sniper on the team, and how not having a good sniper on your team can really bring you down. They got Hudson's, he was ESL Season 1 sniper of, I guess, the season. And yeah, Eternity, Affinity, they've been teammates for a while, and Poseidon, like they have a lot of synergy there. They played together more than anybody, but the thing is they haven't been to LAN as a team. Poseidon was a pickup ever since I think Curls was dropped, and yeah, they haven't been to LAN as a team. I think it's, oh man, I don't want to make anyone mad. I feel like it's generous to give them a top 8 at this point. You might think that's ridiculous, but again, with the talent here, E6 placing 6, I think is right on the money. I think Hudson's is honestly grown to be one of the best players in the game. I think Eternity is going to be better on LAN than he is online. I think Affinity will be better on LAN than he is online. And you know, I think a lot of them will do quite a bit better. I think Poseidon will be about the same, maybe a little bit better as well. But it's hard to say. I feel like they're either just really going to make it or they're really going to break it. They're a very organized team. Definitely top 8 is where I would put them, and I would put them above SB. I would put them above Lethul. I think Lethal's a little bit more talented than E6 overall, but I would still put them higher, just simply because of how long they've been teaming together. Even if they haven't been to a lot of LANs on this game together, they have been to a lot of LANs in the past. Hudson's was at MES. He played pretty well. Yeah, so I think it would be foolish not to put them in the top 6. But that's just my opinion on that. There's no whole lot more to say. They're a good team. They have a lot of LAN experience individually. As a team, not as much as some other players. And so I think 6th is good, and then I think they could either go up 2 placings or down 2 placings. So when evaluating them, I was like, okay, they're going to play somewhere between 4th and 8th. I think just right dab in the middle, 6 would be accurate. So that's E6. That's Poseidon, Eternity, Affinity, and Hudson's. So now we're going to go into our top 5. So the 5th team here is going to be, I think it's XGN. It's Goons. So this is Franco, Razil, Summons, and Drix. These guys just came off of MES, and they played pretty darn good at MES. It was like a last-minute pickup team. They did very well considering. Since then, they have been on their grind. They've just been playing. They got picked up by an org. They know whenever you get picked up by an org, you know, you definitely take it up even another notch. They were doing decently in the qualifiers. They've been doing pretty well, like in scrims and stuff like that. They seem very organized. They're taking it very seriously. A lot of them live very close to each other. They've been landing together, which is huge going into a tournament. Being able to play in person with your teammates beforehand is great. Summons is one of the best players in the game, in my opinion, as long as he's really focused. I feel like when he's distracted, he can kind of get himself into some bad situations, but he's a lot smarter than a lot of people think he is. A lot of people just think he's kind of a warrior and such, but you know, playing against him in scrims and stuff like that, like I can tell there's a thought process behind every action he does, and that's pretty rare for a lot of pro players, to be honest. A lot of pro players are in transition, they're kind of going with it, but everything he does is in a row, you know. Franco has been working on his game tirelessly. Drix has been working on his game tirelessly, and I think they have that special kind of thing that a lot of teams lack, is like a friendship. They're all great friends. They all really want to win for one another, and that takes you far in person. So that, along with their already high seed, I think they're seeded like 4th going into the tournament, gives them a little bit of an easier bracket. So they'll win I think they'll win the matches they're supposed to win, and then either make a run through losers or do some work in the winners. So I think Goons would place 5th. I think they're just that good. I think they're that talented, and I think they have that cohesion that I was talking about earlier. That's really important. The only thing they seem to lack a little bit is a sniper, but I think they make up for it by going a little bit more in depth into strategy. I think it's something that they've talked about, and again, they do have a lot of hunger and talent on the team. So that, combined with a good work ethic, I believe would put you at least 5th. I don't see them placing any higher than 5th or any lower than 5th. It's really hard to say. evaluating them, it would be kind of between 4th and 6th. I think that's what the expectation would be. Not that they couldn't place in the top 4, or not that they couldn't place out of the top 8, but I think the expectation would be right at 5th, and I don't think it would be much higher, much lower. I think that's pretty concrete. But again, we'll have to see. Team's pretty well balanced. Well, I guess, yeah, all we can really do is see. Oh, hold on, that went dark. Talking for a while, I guess. All right, man, we're gonna move on to the top 4. Keep in mind, guys, this my team is Elevate, where I'm not doing any analysis or prediction for my team. I'll let someone else do that. I know, I think Red Icy was talking about doing the predictions as well. Guess we'll just have to see. Okay, so here we go. So here, I don't think this is going to be too crazy, but I guess we'll see. 4th is going to be Dream Team for me. The roster is pretty darn good. All right, you have a roster of Red Icy, Kyle, Demo, and Tommy. They are. I would be really shocked if they didn't place top 4. The only reason that I would put them at 4, a lot of people would say like, hey, they could beat Denial, they could beat Envy, they could beat TK, they could be like any of these teams, but it's a question, will they? Because in this game I've seen them on LAN countless times, like even like Height 4 season 1, season 2, they've always placed like 4th, like every single time. Even that, so let's see, like Tommy, for instance, I can't remember his exact team. He was playing with Yogurt at the time, so like Tommy at season 1, he placed 4th. Or sorry, at Height 4, he placed 4th. I think, and then he placed 3rd season 1, and then 3rd season 2. So the consistency is there for top 4. For Tommy, and then also Kyle placing 3rd of the last one, as well as Icy. They're getting top 4. They're doing it like they consistently on LAN. But it's like, it's really hard for them. They seem to have a little bit of a problem when going up against Denial. They lost to Denial. Denial was playing with a coach. And I feel like if they really wanted to win, despite of some of the other problems, they could have done it, especially with the coach. Like, that is, playing with a coach is so much more of a handicap than playing with a 4th who's going to be moving to another team. It's just, there's just no way that is even close to... Yeah, and to get 3-0'd, I don't know. I really feel like the team is super, super good, but I have such a hard time seeing them beating the other top 3 teams that I'm going to mention. They have a lot of talent. They can definitely do it, but history has kind of shown, at least for Ultimate Edition, that top 4 is kind of what they're going to make and where they're going to stay. But they do have great snipers in Icy and Kyle. Tommy is probably the best support player in the game. Both with vocals and just with weapons and transition. He got an award for it in season 1. And then Demo, very hungry, and I think he's going to be good for them on LAN. I think he's a good match. So we'll have to see. I don't think they're going to place anything less than top 4. I think most of you guys would agree that like Dream Team placing less than top 4 would be pretty surprising. Again, we'll have to see. But I think they'll definitely get top 4. It's going to be like 4th or 3rd for them, I feel like, depending on how the brackets go and when someone's on the line for elimination and if they win or they lose. But yeah, team's great overall. They have a lot of talent, but they just haven't really been able to break out top 4. That's pretty much the only reason. Like, I can't say that they're going to place 1st or 2nd just because, yeah, just because, you know, we've seen it. So I'm going to put them at 4th. But yeah, I think it'll go up or down 1 placing. Most of these placings are going to be right neck and neck now. Between one spot or 2 spots would even be a little bit surprising. Okay, so we're going to move into top 3 now. And here I think is a little bit more of the controversy. I mean, you guys might not agree with the Dream Team thing. Maybe we've already ventured into that territory. But we're going to move into top 3 now. And then here's where the shuffling starts a little bit. So top 3, I'm going to put Team Kaliber. So now, this was really interesting. I was talking with the stream earlier about what I thought about TK in general. I was trying not to talk too much because I wanted to talk about it now. And a lot of people were saying TK's more top 6 material. A lot of people are saying, well, hey, like Ribs, Crushmo, and Fatal were like 1 in 11 or sorry, like 1 in 12 or something like that in the Pro League. But it's true, and they had Diligent Soldier, I think, and now they have Noxious, which I think it's just a lot better for their team. So like it's true that they had a kind of a bad season 2, even though they were in the Pro League and such, and it pretty much is that same roster that went 1-12. But I have to tell you that like if a team has ever gone under more remodeling, just in general, and just more like practice and training, it is these guys. These guys go toe to toe with any team in the game now. They have a deep seated passion that just kind of outweighs a lot of other teams' skill. I just feel like I just can't see them losing to any team except for the teams I'm going to mention next. If they were to, and even then, I feel like it would just be so close. Just the LAN experience alone, the friendship of that team, being under the banner of Team Kaliber is huge. You see them just playing all the time. Like they have pretty much everybody on that team streams more or less. Of course, Fatal Strike, who by the way has been just the last like 2 weeks. I mean, he was grinding before, but he's grinding now, and he is definitely, without a doubt, most improved player, like in the last, I don't know, 2 months, because he was coming off of commentating, right? So he's the heart and soul of that team. He coming back to the game, he wasn't as skilled as he could have been, but he worked on it, and now he's super, super good. A lot better than he was skill-wise, and he already had that calm mentality. Like he was there. He just wasn't there skill-wise yet, but he is now. Crushmo is an amazing Slayer, and when you get him going, he's extremely hard to stop. Noxious, again, when he's in the right environment, he's an absolute savage. He won't make mistakes as long as he's in the right environment. And then, of course, Ribs. He's been to countless lands, countless experience. He's like best friends with Fatal. They just have that like friendship thing again, which goes far on LAN. They did great at MES. It was a local that happened, I think it was, oh my gosh, it was like 2 months ago now. And they placed second, and they went toe-to-toe with Denial, who was using Red Icy for a sub, but still went toe-to-toe with them. Like, it was extremely close, and that was with using a sub themselves with Hudson. So I really don't see them placing out of top 4. I feel like that's just unrealistic, unless they lost some really hard matches. They do have a tough bracket, but I feel like if they make it out of day 1, they'll place top 4, guaranteed. Day 1's going to be the first 3 rounds of the bracket. So I just think there's a lot of synergy on that team. There's a lot of hype on that team. They review tape. They just really do it all. And so we're just going to see how far they've really brought their game. Like I said, started literally from the bottom, coming back from commentating from Fatal. Lots of roster mania during the Pro League. Just a bad season 2, but really just taking a positive mindset and just transforming a team. They went from a Kakuna to a Butterfree. That's what they did. So enough of that, but they've just most improved team, most improved players, and they're just so excited. And also they're going to be doing some landing starting I think like this weekend or something like that. So they're going to be pre-landing before going, and that's huge. So I just don't see TK not placing in top 3. But I'll put them at 3rd just because I think that's what's expected on paper. So now we're going to go to top 2. So now you guys, obviously I haven't mentioned Denial / NME, and I haven't mentioned Envy. So it's going to be these 2 teams going into this. And I'm wondering what you guys think here. But I'm just going to go ahead and keep going because I think this video is already extremely long. But 2, I'm going to go with Envy. Which would make Denial first, but I'll try to keep these. I don't think there's a lot that has to be said here for both these teams. I think Envy is an amazing team. I don't think placing out a top 2 would be extremely surprising. Same with Denial. Their team is very well rounded. I think, honestly, in my opinion, I think Fran is the best player on that team on LAN. A lot of people would say like, yo, Praise, Toy, Soda, like they're all like, but like Fran really gets it done as a sniper, as a leader, and really does have a great shotgun when he needs it on LAN. I think online, I don't think he like plays to his potential, but on LAN he really does it all. Placing second would mean that they would be in a final. So if they were in the finals, it would be an extremely intense one, as you'd expect it to be. But I just feel like Denial, after winning season 1, even though it was close, and just getting Kenny now. Instead of Solars, I feel like that's just going to push them a little bit over the edge. And I think they're really mad that they had to play with the coach season 2. And I think that I think they're just really just going to be hyped as hell. And I feel like if they start winning and Denial starts getting ahead, Envy will crumble a little bit because they're like, well, you know, if we're losing now, like what can we do to bounce back? So, and one thing with Envy is it's a little scary is like we haven't seen them. This is gonna be like the most competitive tournament, MLG Columbus for this game, and probably, you know, if you combined all of the Gal 3 events, like it's just such a competitive event. If Envy were to fall the losers bracket, how would they handle it, right? Like maybe they just crumble. Like what if they take a loss, like at Hype 4, like they beat us by a round. If they were sent to losers, what would happen there, right? So like let's say they go to losers, maybe they just lose in losers to a team like TK. Like I feel like if Envy played TK in losers, TK would just win. I could be wrong, but again, it's hard to analyze. We've never seen Envy go to losers bracket before. I feel like if they go through the bracket like they normally do, you know, they'll be fine, and they'll place in the top 3, definitely top 2. But they do have TK and dreamTeam on their side of the bracket, so they're going to have to get through them first. But very well-rounded team, just came off a Gfinity win, and, you know, the team is very well-balanced, but we're going to have to see. They're going to have to win. They're going to have to go through a really, really hard winners bracket, and if they don't lose there, they're looking primed to almost take the tournament. But I feel like they could lose to TK or dreamTeam, and then who knows what happens in losers bracket. That's kind of why I put them at 2. And so Denial, aka now NME Esports. This is going to be Kenny, oh my god, Mental, Lava, and Explosive. And they're your Season 1 champs. They placed second at Season 2. They had to play with a coach. They won MES, which again was a smaller land, but I think they won it pretty convincingly. They didn't lose a set, and they were playing with a sub, even though Icy's a super good player. I just feel like they would, overall the other teams, they just have the edge. They've been a team just like Envy since the beginning. That's why they're in top 2 with Envy, and I just feel like they'd be really hard to knock down into losers. They're just like a really strong champ bracket team. It would be so crazy to see Denial in losers bracket. Just like Envy, it's just really hard to imagine on this game seeing one of those teams in losers bracket. I mentioned with Envy the same thing, like what happens if they go to losers? So they get really hungry, or do they do they go to losers and lose the first map in their losers bracket set and just like fall apart? Like you just don't know because we haven't seen it yet. But this is going to be again the most competitive tournament, and so. Who knows what could happen? There's so many hungry and skilled teams out there with different skill sets. So we're going to have to see. But, yeah, this is obviously uploaded to YouTube, so I'm not closing the stream out yet. But thank you, everybody out there on the tube, for watching this. Make sure to subscribe. And that's my top 12 predictions and analysis video. You guys can definitely drop the comments below, and I will read those. Thank you for listening.